Welcome to On This Day in Tudor History with me, Claire Ridgway, author of On This Day in Tudor History. Now today I'm taking you back to the reign of King Henry VIII, for on the 3rd of June 1535, on the same day that he'd interrogated Henry VIII's former Lord Chancellor, Sir Thomas More, in the Tower of London regarding the King's supremacy and whether he thought it was lawful, Thomas Cromwell, Vicar-General, issued orders regarding the royal supremacy. But what was the royal supremacy? Well, during the Great Matter, Henry VIII's quest for an annulment of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, a copy of William Tyndale's The Obedience of a Christen Man found its way into the king's hands. In this book, Tyndale wrote of how rulers were answerable directly to God and not to the Pope. After reading this book, Henry VIII declared, "This book is for me and all kings to read." And it's his reading of this text that is credited with making the king believe that he could break with Rome and make himself head of the church in England, rather than being answerable to the Pope. The Act of Supremacy was passed in November 1534, and it declared, albeit the King's Majesty justly and rightfully is and oweth to be supreme head of the Church of England, and so is recognised by the clergy of the realm in their convocations. This act came into force in February 1535. The authority of Rome was abandoned, and this was the start of the English Reformation. On the 3rd of June 1535, Cromwell sent out royal orders to all bishops in England to preach in support of the royal supremacy and to make sure that their priests also preached every Sunday and feast day, renouncing the Pope and supporting the royal supremacy. Cromwell's orders are no longer in existence, but we can tell what was said from the replies he received from bishops. Archbishop Cranmer replied concerning the diligent declaration of the King's title and style of Supreme Head in earth, immediately under God of the Church of England, will satisfy the King's command to the best of my power. Nicholas Shaxton, Bishop of Salisbury, wrote that he rejoices that it has pleased His Highness to write so earnestly to his bishops in this so earnest a cause. Praise Cromwell, whose wisdom no doubt stirred him to it, to persevere till the usurped power of that man of Rome be clean abolished. And the Bishop of Bangor wrote to the king saying that he'd received his letters concerning the diligent setting forth and sincere preaching within the diocese of Bangor of your most just title of Supreme Head of the Church of England, and the abolition of the usurped power of the Bishop of Rome, which I will do or cause to be done with all celerity. Lots of other bishops replied too, assuring the king and Cromwell that they would obey. Schoolmasters were also to teach their students about the king's supremacy. And the clergy were also instructed to remove all references to the Pope from mass books and other church books. Of course, not everybody was on board with these changes, and men like Sir Thomas More, John Fisher, Bishop of Rochester, and the Carthusian monks of the London Charterhouse lost their lives as a result of their opposition. Although, as I said, this break with Rome was the start of the English Reformation, Henry VIII was not changing the faith of England. Henry VIII died a Catholic. He was simply making himself head of the church and denying the authority of the Pope. This did allow those of the Reformed faith, men like Cranmer and Cromwell, to bring in changes to reform the church, but England didn't become Protestant, not until Edward VI's reign, and then in Elizabeth I's reign with her religious settlement. I mentioned that Sir Thomas More was interrogated in the Tower on the 3rd of June 1535, and you can find out more about what happened in last year's On This Day video, which I'll give you a link to. Thank you for joining me. I'm very hot, perspiring, perhaps glowing. You can subscribe by clicking just about there. You can hit the bell to be notified as these videos go live, and you can give me a like and leave me a comment. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.